And I know what time it is.
Yo, me too, bro. Yeah. Iron. Shit. Moorish Master MC. Hey, yo. What up, what up? You already know. Audio mechanics, what up? Yo. No need for a swatch wash. I read the time in the signs like prophets and seers. Put a hex on the beers. Put some wicker on Leopold and Mussolini offspring. To the ancestors, fill their blood as my offering. Oshunola Punya, may I show me reflections in water like balls of crystal. Walls with penis missiles. Sun gaze and sea gods peeping from behind. I'm learning to love instead of hate and be kind, cause yes, I know. I'm thinking it's time for the wake up. Good morning as I'm yawning. Check my phone, it's only 2 a.m. Thoughts bubble like a cauldron. Feeling the tonin drip from my pineal gland. Activating my mitochondrial DNA strands. Stimulating my chakras like a camera captures. I did foresee the rapture, stones falling in Turkey like rain from the sky. My farmer shoveling thousands of bees that died from radioactive waves from cell phone towers. As niggas babble and debate falsehood for hours. No PhD, but they call themselves doctors. We living in the time of false prophets. When we hear them speak, got the feeling awkward. It's like they speak a language I don't understand or talk with. Their tongues fork like utensils, and they stay playing with your mental.
I know what time it is. Okay, what you said? If you should lose me, oh
yeah. The Sufi mystic T-pour from the hype Moorish tradition. Perpendicular position, no longer in that mummy state. They lied to us, said we got shipped from miles away. But the old back heads look just like me. The flow a gift like patron St. Maurice. That's charitable, these lands inheritable. Reversion of a state inevitable. So stop the street, I'm on a plane out of your reach. And I ain't talking Delta seats. All metaphysics with a well-blended civics. We caliphs, not lieutenants. This guy was jealous like Musa bin Nusayr. Drew Ali Revelation, New Moors is here. Displaying the art, Khalifa society, matriarch.
Moorish Master MC, also a grand sheep. Delectable Negro, barbecue and the clan meet. See me in my fairs, won't mistake me for black man or colored. Might assume I'm a Masonic brother. Brown chronic lover, eager roller, edible supper. Vibrate at a high rate, turn to a dimension jumper. Hit the soul plane, quick build with the prophet. Get back to the earth plane, dismissed on the docket. Magistrate lane environment.
okay, what you said? If you should lose me, oh yeah.
The Sufi mystic T-pour from the hype Moorish tradition. Perpendicular position, no longer in that mummy state. They lied to us, said we got shipped from miles away. But the old back heads look just like me. The flow a gift like patron St. Maurice. That's charitable, these lands inheritable. Reversion of a state inevitable. So stop the street, I'm on a plane out of your reach. And I ain't talking Delta seats. All metaphysics with a well-blended civics. We caliphs, not lieutenants. This guy was jealous like Musa bin Nusayr. Drew Ali Revelation, New Moors is here. Displaying the art, Khalifa society, matriarch.
Moorish master MC, also a grand sheep. Delectable Negro, barbecue when the clan meet. See me in my fairs, won't mistake me for black man or colored. Might assume I'm a Masonic brother. Brown chronic lover, either roll or edible supper. Vibrate at a high rate, turn to a dimension jumper. Hit the soul plane, quick build with the prophet. Get back to the earth plane, dismissed on the docket. Magistrate lane and vomit, janitor bring the comment. No bond paid, temple gets a deposit. Sketch not composite, left no witness. Left blue on the litmus, get altitude sickness. So high on your head, whenever I spit this. I'm the type to forget, so you get no forgiveness. Business is strictly like Eric and Parrish. Moreno is my status if you're speaking in Spanish. Man or manish when I draw from the chalice. Looking like the paintings of Arabs. Tiger head rug in the palace, accepting your challenge. Final glove slap since you thought I was average. Carried by 1,000 scarabs over the hot sand. Last name comes from Moors that rule Scots land. Black or Moors you thought Elizabeth got banned. Drew Ali name known again was not planned. Try to call me Indian, no that will not stand. Forget to say the prayer, now I feel I'm in Copland. Forgot the amethyst, start rubbing on stone shaman. Cause a glitch in the matrix, stop feds from charging. Body frozen walking past, the eyes enlarging. With a ray gun like Marvin Martian. That's all folks when we activate carbon. End it all like arson, or your face on a carton.
I'm a Moorish American man, national. 360 degrees is added to my arsenal. Like a carpenter, got me building temples, but mentally. Noble Jew, I lead the measure and stick your activities. I came here to predicate, changing negativity. Precisely, my purpose is to uplift humanity. So why you mad at me? Cause you know I'm a Moor. 2,000 years with the prophet like I've been here before. Go ahead and diss the prophet cause you're so immature. When justice come knock at your door, bodies will get the floor. Like a faux puzzle your brain just like a jigsaw. Muti cut your head off and did we play ping pong. Looking through the peephole cause you hear the ding dong. I don't sing songs, I'm the champ with no rings on. Concrete jungle gives a fuck about King Kong. I'm ready to go and when I die I scream out yeehaw like Kid John. Cause my last words would be Islam. What up more, my higher self is keeping me this calm.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gates Cemetery, February the 4th days. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law make civil literal lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. Or keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm rock bass, mix it with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets stood me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Saute, rapping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J. Israel. Had no door, I lay in plain sight. But people still can't see it, so the snake's still showing up. Stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death dip in slavery. Looking for life, the book of Genesis. Astroplane entrances, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life, finish him.
Norris Omar, key man or oracle. Using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical. Lost in metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic. Facts slap a dirty Mo or a Drew Ali critic, calling him Thomas O.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gates Cemetery, February the 4th days. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law make civil literal lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. Or keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm rock bass, mix it with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets stood me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Saul Bay, rapping like I'm Denzel, Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J. Israel. Had Noble Dwally in plain sight, but people still can't see it, so the snake still showing up. Stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death dip in slavery. Looking for life, the book of Genesis. Astroplane entrances, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life, finish him.
Norris or Mark, key man or oracle, using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical, lost in metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic, facts slap a dirty Moor or a Drew Ali critic, calling him Thomas or Walter and get your face caved, or cut like a close shave, drowned in my brain waves, squashed by heat waves, activating Kundalini, Abyssinia invaded by Mussolini, Selassie I in exile, reptile in Genesis, niggas appearing real, all I see is false evidence, they are feminists, stomped on by elephants, more like no prejudice but want Moorish benefits, when you feel the pole magnetic resonance, Apis horns of the sacred book all maleficent, great cosmic mothers, return to blessedness, no pestilence, ace all the testaments, tap into remembrance, never to forget again, use energy right, not put spell effects on men, wandering the earth plane with no veil of shades, keeps you a mental slave as the horizon fades, it's been decades since Christian crusades, not enough rebellions, too many vigil bouquets, holding on to the fence, burning on doomsday, war ruled by Mars, it might be on a Tuesday.
Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quickie. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try?
Bet they won't. Bet you they won't even dare try Mars. Play all that BS with our people who think that they're Negro, black, colored, Indian, Aboriginal, and all that BS. Play little games with them. We're not gonna play games with Moors. Honest all the Moors worldwide. All the Moors. You need dirty bastards. Honors to you too, because at least you know you're Moors. Exactly. Exactly.
The Christians, aka the Catholics, you know, they bought their Catholics.
Oh yeah, just put your stuff in all caps. Just put your stuff in all caps. If you got questions, put it in all caps. So I don't know, I saw Rizzo there, but I'm assuming you're talking about Rizzo Islam. Because I don't know who Rizzo is. I don't know that. But yeah. So forget him. Forget him. Let's just remind me, don't forget to talk about Rizzo Islam. But let's just stop at Rizzo Islam and let's go before Rizzo Islam. Right? Let's just go before. Just like you're gonna stop at Canaanland Moors and you're gonna go back to see what Noble Drew Ali said. Forget what Canaanland Moors said. We ain't saying anything other than what Noble Drew Ali been telling us for the past 100+ years. Right? So if Farrakhan's a coon, then what does that mean about? Doesn't that answer your questions? Isn't your question answered? Oh, but you're still gonna go support them, right? Because they got Mosque Miriam and they got the bean pies and they got the place where they go to say Assalamu alaikum, and they got the girls stuff and they're dressing in their NOI stuff and they're stomping on the stage and you're like, oh, their nation is freaking crazy. That's Nation of Islam, whatever. And you don't even know they got all that from Moorish Science Temple. Everything that they're doing, they got from Moorish Science Temple. Everything. Nothing excluded. Every single thing that you see the NOI doing right now, just like the Moor said in the song, tell Farrakhan and them put the sign back. Take down your BS and put Moorish Science Temple on the building, because you already know that's Mecca. You already know everything that you're doing, Farrakhan, is off the shoulders and the back of Noble Drew Ali. Forget Elijah Muhammad and Fard Muhammad and all that BS. Don't tell me about Elijah Muhammad and Fard Muhammad. You don't hear anything about them. Zero. Because just like Canaanland Moors don't mean jack, and Reza Islam don't mean jack, Elijah Muhammad and Farrakhan and anybody else who's repping NOI, Wesley Muhammad and whoever else, none of them mean jack either, because everybody got their stuff from Noble Drew Ali. Everyone got their stuff from Noble Drew Ali. Period. Point blank. I don't want to hear anything. And the only thing that you could bring up is Marcus Garvey. Because Noble Drew Ali said he's the forerunner of the Moors. So we rep for Garvey too, even if you don't hear us mention his name like how we mentioned Noble Drew Ali's name. We already know all you people know about Garvey, so we'd have to tell you jack. The only thing we have to tell you about Garvey is that he was a student of Deuce Muhammad Ali, who's a Sudanese Moor that came to America to teach these dumb niggers about their African culture. Because he was a scholar. And he was going out doing plays and all that stuff, displaying Moorish culture to these niggers in America who don't want it. But in Europe, oh, they're on this in Europe. You just go look up Deuce Muhammad Ali in Europe and see how much stuff you find on him. Forget anybody else in Europe during the 1920s. So, honors to Marcus Garvey, because Noble Drew Ali said, honor him. It was up to me, forget Garvey, because they're Negroes. Drew Ali just said we're not Negroes, so how are you saying that we're Negroes? What are you trying? And that's when people get caught up in this stuff and they start talking about he's an agent. Because he met with the Klan and all that stuff, so he's an agent. Noble Drew Ali met with the Klan, but he's not agent. He has a nationality. He's not dumb nigger. Dumb nigger meeting with the Klan and Moor meeting with the Klan is two totally different meetings. You're just looking at the surface. Oh, these black guys going to go talk to the Klan. They're a sellout. No. The Klan knew what was up. The Klan knew that these people stole the government. Same stuff people talk about with Trump and lost the votes and all that stuff. The same stuff that history repeats itself. You're looking at parties and they're looking at self-preservation. Forget party. Who's going to be in favor of European mindset? That's who they want in office. And since that's their office, you better have a nationality and connect with your nation, because anything you're doing other than saying more, you're in their jurisdiction. And if you didn't reserve your rights when you went in their jurisdiction, you're definitely in jurisdiction. Don't even talk BS to Moors. Because we already, and remember, this has to do with NOI and all that. Don't forget, we never got off NOI yet. Just remember. You hear people talking, you get caught up in stuff. Don't forget, we never got off NOI yet. We didn't even get to them yet. So to bring us back to point, Reza Islam is NOI. NOI is Moorish Science Temple of America. Noble Drew Ali and all that. The fact that they're not saying that they're Moorish Science Temple of America, and they're saying, oh, we're a Islamic nation and we have our own prophet, Fard, and we have our own messenger, Elijah, and we're here to save the black people from whatever. That's Moorish Science Temple. Fard is Noble Drew Ali. Elijah Muhammad is Emilio, who we're not going to get into any of that. This is just what it is. And then all of them have their individuals around them. Ugan Ali and all these people with Moorish names, but they're the founders of the NOI. How come people with Moorish names founded the NOI? You ever ask yourself that question? How come somebody named Ugan Ali was Nation of Islam? Matter of fact, how come somebody named Muhammad Ali is Nation of Islam and he never put this stuff together? Because as soon as we bring up Moors, you talk about, oh, Muslim, and we don't want nothing to do with that. Okay, well, he said he's Ali before he converted to Islam. Where he get that Ali from if he wasn't Islamic? Remember, being Nation Islam doesn't make you Islamic. You're just a black guy in a religious organization. There's no nationality there. They know that. That's why you never see Farrakhan say his free national name. He has a free national name. If Ugan Ali has a free national name, and Muhammad Ali has a free national name, and Elijah and Fard have a free national name, then why wouldn't Farrakhan have a free national name? Because he's not telling you what his free national name is the problem. Because if he told you what the free national name is, then you, being a follower of Farrakhan, who's the #1 guy, would say, hey, it's actually about having a nationality. Because that's how Farrakhan got back into the country. And everybody forgot that he got back in the country. You know, he was working terrorists with Libya and all this stuff, but he got back in the country. And then right now they're holding some Chinese business, whatever, CEO's daughter or whatever, holding her for ransom. And they let black guy, who's calling people black, get labeled a terrorist because he's working with Gaddafi, but then get back in the country. And nobody questioned how he got back in the country. He just got back in the country, start lecturing. Yeah. And the black man, Nation of Islam. Hold on a second. Didn't you just use your free national name to get back in the country? Because you definitely didn't get back in the country just calling yourself Farrakhan only. There's no way. And if you did, then you would have had a passport or something, which is their stuff, that as soon as you go to the passport, then they kidnap you. Obviously, because they track you with the passport. And nobody's asking the question, hey, how far can I get back into the country? When they said he was getting money from Gaddafi and all that. You never asked yourself that question? Do you remember, this is not some conspiracy, behold the pale horse found some stuff that written on something. No, this is common sense. This is logic and reason. How did he get back into the country? What you mean you're talking crazy? You daughters can't do nothing to me and all this. And then you're back in the country? And then you're lecturing? You're just lecturing. Everybody saying that they found people in holes and stuff like that, hiding. Escaping, trying to escape these people. This guy got back in the country and nobody asked any questions. 0 questions were asked. Now, there are 2 ways this could go. One, you're a dumbass because this stuff is obvious. Or 2, European psychology has you might as well stay where you are. Don't worry about Moors. You just keep going to the club and making women out of money on the bed, taking pictures and all that stuff. You just stay over there. Because this is not for you. That you're under that much of brainwash. All because nobody went and checked the facts. You know how much books they're talking about? Oh yeah, Nation Islam. Yeah, that started with Moorish Science Temple. Like, what do you mean? Nation Islam. That's not. But nobody wants to talk about that. You want to decode the plane flying and all types of BS. And this is what it is. There's nothing to debate, nothing to go ask somebody, hey, are you a sellout and a traitor? Well, define traitor because, you know, what you having a conversation about? And again, we know people who are Moors right now that used to be Nation of Islam. And why they leave? Because they figure out that it's some BS. Because Islam is not a nation. That's a religion. How are you part of something? Exercising like a nation, but it's not really a nation. Because when you leave this place, right? He got $5 million from Gaddafi, and it was supposed to go to black nation building, whatever. So part of it we know for sure was they were supposed to have some hair care, whatever. Whether it was hair care manufacturing or hair care, whatever. Right? It's documented fact. People know that they got $5 million from Gaddafi. Right? And that it was for something relative to the black people's whatever. $5 million. Like 80s, mind you. $5 million. So you're not seeing anything that came from that. You're seeing something right now, but you're not seeing anything that came from that. Right? Why do you think the hub of this thing is Chicago? Why do you think it's Chicago for? You see how Saudi Arabia is looking right now? That's how Chicago and everything going outward was supposed to look. Picture what you see going on over there right now. Right? When Moors talk about people stole your birthright and they're living off your virtues, that's a perfect example of them taking your stuff and setting up their own jurisdiction for themselves. That to the point where now you can't go there unless this and that and whatever like that. How they do that? With your stuff. But you want to play Negro Black Colored games. You want to play Nation Islam organization games. When this is about nationhood and all you have to do is proclaim your nationality. Imagine Nation Islam was doing what they're doing right now that you see with your eyes and hear with your ears and your senses. What if all that was with fezzes and turbans? Right, he's on the podium and all that stuff there. Million Man March, fezzes and turbans everywhere. What do you think would have happened? Think about that. What if they stuck to the program? In 1930, right, after Noble Drew Ali was assassinated in 1929, everyone who was a student of him, which included NOI and all that, didn't go their own way and do what they wanted to do. They stuck with the program of We Are a Nation. And they built upon the foundation that Noble Drew Ali left for them. But now they want to change signs, take off their L and B, stop wearing feathers and turbans, want to do their own stuff. And then now, we're the future generation that we're catching the ball and the ball's flat. And nobody's not questioning, well, how come the game's getting played with a flat ball? Like, what is going on here? What do you mean the score is 55, 50, 57? And ball's flat. Nobody questioned anything? You just kept keeping score and all that? That game's legitimate? And if you can't see that game's a fraud, and you're sitting there talking about championship and all that stuff, and you play the whole season with a flat ball, you have mental problems. Not the owners and the other people who have you fooled because you want to be a dumbass. You want to chase these people around. Now, let's get to the Rizza Islam now. Since you should realize what's going on now. So now we get to Rizza Islam now. Right now, he got Medicare fraud charges with his mom. Right now. They went to court for Medicare fraud charges. They kept the kingpin, which is mom. They kept her, kidnapped her, and let him go. Because in their case, they were talking about their sovereign. And we're in our own land. They went to court. Just go check. They went to court talking about U.S. corporation does not have jurisdiction over them. This is what Nation of Islam people said in court. This is in our time now. We're not talking 1920s Noble Drew Ali and all that. We're talking right now. Right now they got trial coming up. And when they get off, because he's already free, like it ain't like how you got Medicare fraud charges or whatever like that. You're here talking crazy about European. COVID and all this stuff. You already got off. What you mean? And if he got off like that, doesn't it mean he works for them? Isn't he Willie whatever with Fred Hampton and all that? Isn't he the same as? So then, what don't you get? Right? Because right now she's doing dead time, so they might put that dead time to the sentence. And the first stuff for Medicare fraud was 3 years. Yeah, probation for life, and that's that. And then what's going to happen? They're going to be out here pushing their Negro black BS on you. And you're going to be looking at them as they beat some white man or whatever. No, they work for them. Because they're supposed to be saying that they're Moorish Science Temple. Even though in the background, we already know people want to remain anonymous. People want to remain anonymous and will remain anonymous. But we know he has Moorish nationality paperwork. We know Rizza Islam has judicial proclamation paperwork. We know that. He has that. We know he has that. It's not guessing, debating something. We know the background. They know about Moorish nationality and birthrights, Moroccan Empire and all that in America. And then you're not hearing the Indians and the black Indian, whoever, genealogy people going at NY either. They're riding with them. You have all these traitors talking about they're for the liberation of our people. And then you have these little section of people over here who say that they're Moors. And this is their land. And nobody's taking them serious. Paying attention to intangibles. Wasting your life. While all these people want the Moors on the reservation right now. The Moors on the reservation right now. Talk to the Moors on the reservation today. They're saying all that's going on in our Indian whatever is drunkenness. And Moorish science, knowing that we're Moors, have me and my little friends over here, and you know what I mean? Like, we're all right. I got a truck, I got a job, you know what I mean? I'm not a reservation Indian. I know the history that this is our land and we're Moors. This is a reservation Indian. Reservation Indian saying all the chiefs sold out if chief comes from sheik, then what does that mean all your grand sheiks did? If all these chiefs sold out and they live in mansions or whatever like that, and then these people are living on reservations where all they have is alcohol and drugs, they don't have anything else. And everything that they got from the European, from a deal that their chief made. But their chief lives in a mansion, 5-car garage. This is reservation chiefs right now, 2021. Reservation chief has the 700. Whatever, whether it's Beamer, whether it's Bentley, whether it's whatever, they got the 700. 4 or 5-car garage house, mansion. And then the reserve people are drinking Lysol. That's their get high. Their get high is weed sucks, pills suck, whatever else sucks. We're gonna drink Lysol to get high. But that's all they got. But their chiefs, remember, chief comes from sheik. Sheikh. Sachem, all that is the same stuff. High priest. Right? Beachfront property the Indians got. Beachfront. And then they don't want to hear what the Moors who are trying to get off the reserve are telling everybody else. The Moors who are on the reserve, they know the chief guy that has the big house. They know him. They can go to him anytime because this is indigenous affairs. Like, we could come and talk to our chief anytime. Now come nothing's changing. Nothing's changing? Nothing? Didn't even sell a car and give you the finance? Nothing. No help whatsoever. And then people talking about, oh yeah, the indigenous women, you know, we have to help them. Whatever, number just keeps going up or whatever. Yeah, we got to help them because, and then these Moors are saying, hey, if we have a nationality, then we could, and then everybody's like, yeah, that's actually right. But they're not doing the will of the people. And because they're not doing the will of the people, they vacate their seat. You're just supposed to step down, leave the house right there, leave the cars, and head toward the Mayor of Steel. And there's a few faithful Moors among the reservation Indians. We're not talking about the black Indians and the Cherokee and genealogy. We're not talking about those ones. The YouTube pop-up people who just came yesterday that weren't around in 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012. You didn't hear anything about maybe 7 years ago. People start talking about our people being indigenous like that, causing confusion. Again, instead of just going with the program, what Noble Drew Ali said, because he's Cherokee. So if he's Cherokee, and that's one of the main Aboriginal and indigenous tribes next to Washita, and everybody knows about them, no matter who you ask anywhere in the world, they know Cherokees. They know Apache. For sure they know. They don't look like some Europeans. Because everybody knows Aboriginal and indigenous people are dark. They're dark skinned. And if Blackamoor means any dark skinned person, and Cherokees and all these quote unquote indigenous tribes are dark skinned people, wouldn't that logically mean that they're Moors? Just something to debate there. But they don't want to be Moors. They want to do their own thing. They know what's going on. Noble Drew Ali doesn't know anything.
They brought that over here when they came, you know. So if the Moors were so powerful and you know, they were everywhere and conquered the whole world or whatever, then, you know, most of the country over here would be Islamic. That's not the case, though, right?
Well, so you're going to listen to that guy? Or are you going to listen to a scholar? You're going to listen to him, or are you going to listen to a scholar? Jose V. Pimienta Bay, PhD. See the Bay, and then there's a PhD there? You realize Jose V. Pimienta Bay is PhD. So because he's PhD with the Bay there, that's qualifying where this information is coming from. This is not a guy who made a YouTube video talking to you. This is not a guy who just pushed live on his IG talking to you. This is a PhD. The niggas don't read, so they're... The abstract says that neither Bakari nor Columbus were ready to share such geopolitical secrets with their respective Ottoman allies, or the Christian kingdoms in the case of Columbus. The abstract then quotes from Weiner's Africa and the Discovery of America. That's a reference point, right? November 2nd, Columbus decided to set Rodrigo de Lleras and Luis de Torres, who had lived with the Adelanto of Murcia and was a Jew and knew Hebrew and Chaldaic and some Arabic, to see the king of Cuba in order to present the letters and find out all that was necessary. Naturally, a man who knew Arabic and another who knew the language of Guinea, Rodrigo, were especially adapted to hold converse with the king of Indies. What is clearly implied here is that the native Cubans spoke a Semitic language, closely related to one of the three languages, Arabic, Chaldean, or Hebrew. The other reference to the language of Guinea further implies that the Cuban quote-unquote Indian language was similar to African languages. Let us also remember the 12th century work of al-Idrisi, which previously mentioned how Arabic was used by earlier Moorish seafarers to speak with certain inhabitants of the Americas. PhD, don't forget this is PhD, not a nigger that could push live and come out in a baseball hat and have you thinking that they got some scholarship. We're talking about PhD right now, is our reference point. While discussing tobacco, Weiner reveals that trade took place between pre-Columbian American Indians and Africans. Significantly, there are several period representations from 16th, 17th, and 18th centuries which show Africoid features as the symbolic spokesman for tobacco. In Scotland between 16th and 18th century, tobacconists often placed a Moor upon the front of their shop in order to identify themselves as distributors of tobacco. Weiner wrote that Europeans were first introduced to the medicinal use of tobacco via Moorish Spain. According to Weiner, even American Indian wampum belts have an African origin. He writes, it can be shown that the Canadian and New York wampum belts are related to the Brazilian wampum belt, which itself is of African origin. Robert Beverly II is noted as one of Virginia's finest early historians. Writing in the 18th century, Beverly alluded to several cultural connections, that similarities between Africa, Asia, and the Americas. A student of classical and contemporary writers, Beverly held a special interest in Indian society. Well-traveled and well-read in geography and history, Beverly said that the Indian foods of Virginia were strange and reminded him of the strange foods sold in the markets of Fez and of the diet of the Arabians, the Libyans, the Parthians, regions in Southwest Asia, and the Ethiopians. In Harold Lawrence's article, African Explorers in the New World, we find evidence of more of the considerable similarities between the Old World of Africa and the New World Indian peoples of the Americas. Not only do they, West African people, have similar names and naming methods, but tribal groups are also designated by the same titles, differing only in the aspects of an occasional prefix or suffix. Furthermore, the women folk of the same region in all appearance can easily be mistaken for American Indians. So don't let them play the separation with you. We're Moors. We know that we're one people with the Africans. That's why Noble Drew Ali said we're descendants of Africa, born in America. But if over here is called Morocco, then that would mean over here is also Africa. Isn't that rocket science? And over there's Africa. Especially if you find piece of Africa under Florida, then that means this is probably Africa. How much more you want? Need more than that? Remember, that's PhD, not Negro, black, colored, or Ethiopian, or none of that. More, Bay, PhD. You're going to go with some guy on YouTube before a PhD? And these people, YouTube people, didn't even show you any credentials. Nothing to show. Zero. Not even a PhD. You're just niggers pushing live. Talk about they're Indians. And our people are Indians. And we're the original copper colored and all this. What colored means fraud. Colored means fake. What do you mean you're copper colored? Why would you be copper colored? When colored means fake. If colored means fake, why are you saying you're fake? Thought you're the real. Thought you're the original and all that stuff. You're original, you're not going to be fake. The fake is not saying that you're Moors. Because remember, everybody's foundation is Moorish nationality and birthrights. If they're saying, therefore, the liberation of our people. Now imagine the Hebrew Israelites. All of them, fezzes up, turbans. You know what I mean? What do you think? What do you think is going to happen? But what do they do? No, they want to do their own thing. But take the teachings. Just go listen to Ben Amim. How are you talking? How are you talking like that? We're not Negro, black, colored. We're Hebrews. Hold on a second. That sounds really familiar. We're not Negro, black, or colored. We're Israelites. Huh? That's not how it goes. That's not Noble Drew Ali, who was before them, and Rabbi Wentworth and all these people who were before these people called Hebrew Israelites today. They said that they were Moors. So if the first Hebrew Israelites, 1920s back to the 1800s, are Moors, then how are these people today parading around, yelling at people for no reason, and talking about they're Israelites? When everybody knows Israelites are Canaanites, and Noble Drew Ali said we're descendants of the ancient Canaanites. And when they're talking about Hebrew in here, and Indians talking Hebrew. Why are Indians talking Hebrew? They're not Jewish. There was no Jewish in ancient America. What's Jewish? There was no Jewish in ancient America, but they spoke Hebrew though. How come they spoke Hebrew? Why are these American Indians speaking Hebrew? Forget Algonquin and all the Creek and all that stuff. Forget all that. How come they know Hebrew? Just like you never asked the question, how come Farrakhan got back in the country? And they keep playing you. And you keep falling for it. And then you want to debate Moors. You can't debate Moors. You got PhD. We're not Negro, black, colored. Othello's Children in the New World. Moorish history and identity in the African American experience. Right. Moorish history. 2002, been telling you. 2002, been telling you. Been telling you. Still playing around? Alright. You play. Uninstall the Moors. Who know what's up? All these people are a fraud. All of them are a fraud. If they're not telling you about nationality and birthrights, they're a fraud. And they're going to play you out of something. Out of your consciousness, out of your soul, out of some finance in your pocket. Play you out of something. You've been warned. It's not that stuff that you thought it was gonna be. You saw some YouTube stuff, you thought, oh wow, Moors. No. No. You better be serious. This stuff will gobble you up, spit you out. Make your brain turn to water. Thought you had some stuff figured out. You found out who you are. Can't be who you are without nationality. I don't care who you say you are. No nationality? No problem. And they just sip their tea in your house. People playing games. They love to play games with Moors, I tell you. They love it.
Wait, I'm to share my screen right now. All right, go ahead, bro. Ready when you are.
Bring this letter out. Come with the information. Bring the letter out, man. I don't really ever see this letter here before. So,
correct.
Right,
refuge, jobs, and a better life. All right, go ahead.
You can see this letter.
Yeah, it's good. You good money.
You guys see it.
Goes to returns.
All right, go ahead.
My friend said the recluse to him, "It is your duty to obey. I had much rather see you obscure than to know you were nilty." But the confidence with which Pizarro inspired me softens my anxiety and moderates my fears. You gotta mute your mic, Clemens.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on.
I advise you to follow him and exhort you to imitate him. Come and see me again tomorrow. I will write, my dear Alonso. I will trouble you with my letter. And if Pizarro, you're going down. Why are you going down? And if Pizarro can discover where his good young man exists, he will transmit it to him. Who could have told him that in writing this fatal letter he was signing the destruction of the Indians?
Wow. Yeah, that.
What do you mean, wow? Wow, what? They've been murdering our people. I'm surprised that they said murdering the Indians. You ever realize it's always the people without nationality that they destroy? You ever realize the people who get colonized are the ones who want to be wards of the state and wards of the crown? They have you looking at it like, oh, because they said Indians, that means we're Indians. No, it doesn't. That means that you're a ward if you're Indian. And a ward is not what you want to be. That's why we told you about the Moors who are living on the reservation right now. That they're just going out with no plate. Because they're on their reservation. We need a plate from the state to be on their reservation. And they'll be 3 years. 3 years they're in the reserve with no plates. Have no issues with no highwaymen or anything like that. Because they're on the reserve. They're in their own jurisdiction. But their conditions suck. Like they have to make what they have to make. But they're Moors though. They're not Indians. They're going with mindset. They're not going with, I have this card from the Europeans, so that means I'm going to get taxes off. No, I'm a Moor. You're not taxing me. That's just what it is. Because they're in their own jurisdiction, quote unquote, reserve. Why no one ever speaks on what was happening with Moors here while Moors were invading Europe from Africa? That's why we have scholars like Jose Pimienta Bay. And we use them as a reference. So you can go see what they found out and then get all their references, how they found out. So now you could know. And then nobody's not going to be able to play games.